Okay, press F1 to get to your help. Then go to key map. Control Alt are system keys. Those are system-wide, not intercepted by the editor. Alt keys are user-defined. Alt M and Alt M is max. Alt V is a tile vertically. Some of those are handy. You can do your own keyboard plugins for those. The control keys are mostly editor IDE. We're going to look at just a plain old F2 or F4. F4 is this is the keyboard handler. It calls pop-up pick file, pop-up pictor. Those are file choosers. Control D is the file manager, and it turns out that if you let's do edit, Alt M for Max, and we're going to hit F4. Okay, you got that F4? That does the file manager, which is the chooser, and then we hit escape to exit when we're on top, and there it is. There's the file name, so you don't have to type file names if you do that. You can do file directories with Shift F4. Anyway, so it turns out that you change the first letter of the command a lot of times. The drive number, you change it to colon for the boot drive. Anyway, now if you want to search for a string in a file, then you can say find FF. This is find string, and this gets crazy, but these have a colon, and then there's a colon, and let's search for how about alt, or yeah, search for alt. Alt is the string. Okay, now we're on top of alt. It found alt. Now if we say F:2, it found the second occurrence of alt. Okay, so what we just hit upon was the link types. The editor actually takes a link. You can enter a file or a link, a file name, an anchor in a file, a string, a second occurrence of a string, a file line number, or you can do plain files. The TempleOS uses $ commands. $ are special for documents, and if you want to use plain non-Sparrow, you can do that. You can search for a book in the Bible. You can search for a definition of a word in the dictionary. There's a help index. There's a you can enter an address and it'll jump to source code, or you can enter a symbol for a man table entry. Anyway, if you don't have a you can enter a file name, or you can enter a link. So this is just a file name, and anyway, now it remembers the position of the cursor. It puts a ASCII 5 for the position of the cursor. Watch this. So let's put the cursor down here. I'll hit escape for exit and save. Now if I do this again, it comes up in where I left off. Anyway, the FF, this is find file. Let's say star slash star dot txt star semicolon star dot dat star. Okay, this is kind of crazy, but it's almost like there's the directory and then a list of file types. The directory you put first, and that's the base directory, and then you put the file types. That didn't work. One thing, by the way, Control B brings up the border. if you ever enter a quote, notice the quote down here. We have an open quote, so we just got rid of that. Anyway, going back up here, star, find file. Invalid file name. Okay, well, I don't know. Anyway, so it did .dat and .txt. You have to, if we say Sparrow OS /ACCTS/star. Okay, anyway, so now the FF takes a file mask, which is one of those directory and then file type things, and then it also takes a FU flag. The FU flags are FUF. These are recursive, hold labels, question, just source, just directories. Just anyway, these are FUF flags. A lot of commands take the FUF flags. We can do find, which is grep FUF, and then -I is don't ignore case. So these are all the FUF flags. This is a grep. F is is grep. It's my own personal version. It's customized. It's a wrapper function around grep. Anyway, so if you want, there's some handy, let's see, now if you just do directory like this, you get a ton, because it's all, anything with, now if you say F, directory -I plus L, that's whole labels, that's whole words. Now it's only ones with actual dir. You can do F, front label or back label. So if we say -I plus label front, so it won't let you have anything on the front. So when you do that, it doesn't, see how it starts with dir, but it doesn't. Anyway, so let's go to the to this web directory. I just want to show off a couple things here. Here's a bitmap. We can type a bitmap file. I just typed it. Now we can, if we go to home, we can type my personal menu to the command line. Now on the command line we have graphics and anyway, now let's do a partition rep. We have we have ATA is hard disk, ATA API is CD-ROM, and then we have some RAM drives for doing custom things. For doing images of CD, sometimes you want to use a RAM drive for image of an ISO or something. Anyway, I have a CD-ROM drive on T. Now, removable disk, you need to know. Okay, you can say drv drive T. Any of these commands that take a drive letter, you put in single quotes because it's C. Change disk. This is a removable disk, so that doesn't automatically detect removable media. So you have to change disk. If you change the disk, you have to enter this command. Otherwise, the cache is invalid and stuff. Anyway, we're going to do. This is how you install. I'm gonna copy my E drive to my F drive. How about, yeah, F drive. Okay, so I keep my E drive is a backup, and then my F drive is for transferring in and out. I keep an exact snapshot, so I can reinstall in like 5 minutes. And I make ISO files that you want to learn how to make an ISO file. Look at the account examples. Anyway, then we're going to there's two binary files that are compiled ahead of time, the compiler and OS main, and we're going to do a make all. There's only 2 files that get made. So the make all is done with install boot, because we have to tell the new location of the kernel, because the bootloader uses an absolute block address. Okay, so we just copied everything from the E drive onto the F drive, so we have an image. We didn't format first, though. We probably should have. Bible, everything. Now, when this gets done, we're gonna install boot. There's an uncompressed utility called TSZ that'll run in Windows. The files ending in Z are compressed, and you can uncompress them in Windows if you want, or you can do a move in Sparrow and it'll uncompress them. Anyway, install boot, F, and then we enter base drive D. It'll find D, E, and F. So we do probe. You either enter the ports, or if it has a number, you can enter a 1 for the number. It knows that's not a port. Oh, I didn't do my CD-ROM. Anyway, TS/TAD is my account. Disk cache size, use default. Protect low will check for a null pointer dereference. These are options for the kernel. So we just recompiled the kernel and OS main and the compiler. There's line count rep. Okay, so just as a tour, there's the compiler is 21,000 lines, and OS main, which is the kernel, is 25,000 lines. So there's about 50,000 lines that are compiled ahead of time. There's a binary file for the compiler and a binary file for the OS main, and everything in Atom gets compiled during boot, and then the accounts code gets compiled during boot. Then you have applications that are compiled just in time when you run them, or miscellaneous and demos. I want to make a comment about home fixes the drive as well. Anyway, I want to talk about there's different link types in Sparrow. You can enter there's file, anchor, find a string in a file, a line number in a file. That's pretty common. A man page, which looks up a symbol, and then there's plain text. Sparrow documents have $ commands, and you might want to edit a plain without the $ command special. Anyway, it'll look in the Bible, it'll look for a definition of a dictionary word. There's a help index or an address. Anyway, if we say ed, if we say ed, then if we do F4 for picking a file, then we go and we change the first letter to the boot drive. So doc pop-up. Let's look for, if we say find file, : that'll find a string in the file, doc. There we found the first occurrence of doc. Let's do the third occurrence of doc. There's a third occurrence of doc. Let's do file line. Let's do line number 200. Now we're on line 200.